Hello everybody, it's Shady here, and today we've had some pretty big leaks regarding the Switch 2. Yeah, so obviously I'm sure maybe you guys have seen this, maybe you haven't, but a few days ago, all around social media, it was making the rounds of what looks like a prototype, pretty realistic looking prototype of the Switch 2. So obviously, you know, alongside that, there was a few like kind of leaked specs and the like. So yeah, all very kind of exciting stuff. So, you know, I think the thing is, you know, we can all basically guarantee that Switch 2 is going to be announced pretty soon, right? So it all makes sense, you know. Maybe if this was a year or so ago, I think we would probably disregard this stuff. But, you know, from everything that's kind of leaked, all the stuff makes sense. So obviously, let's talk about it right now. So one of the big things obviously is that, you know, it's going to be 10 inches now, a bit bigger. Yeah, so we're going to have a bit more screen real estate. Obviously that this makes sense because I think it needs to be distinguishable from the original Switch. This is going to be kind of one of the biggest things with it. Nintendo are going to need to make sure it's obvious just by looking at this thing that it's a new console. Another thing, it looks like the Joy-Con rails have gone and there's now kind of some sort of magnetic attachment or something, because it looks like they're just sort of slot in. Instead of sliding down, you just sort of push, like they just kind of connect in from the side. Yeah, so that's a little bit different. Joy-Cons practically look the same as well, button layout wise and everything, which is a bit annoying. I just hope that, you know, the sticks are fine, because this has kind of been one of the biggest issues with the Switch 2 was, you know, the stick drift. I mean, you know, even the new models now with the OLED, this is still an issue apparently. But yeah, apparently they were saying one of the big things was improving those sticks. I think they were saying like the Hall effected joypads or whatever the hell that thing is. But from what I can see, the Joy-Cons look about the same, so we're gonna have to wait and see on that. And yeah, the back, by the looks of it, will have the same kickstand as the OLED model, which is awesome. The one that kind of goes all the way across. So much better for like when you're doing off-screen play and everything. And yeah, looks cool. The only annoying thing is, it appears as if it's only going to be an OLED display. So for me, an OLED owner of the OLED, going back to the LCD screen is just not it for me. So we'll have to wait and see. Unless there's an amazing lineup of games that you have to have, I'm probably going to wait for the revision for the OLED version, but we'll wait and see on that. I mean, the LCD screens can still look good, so, you know, it could, you know, have higher nit or whatever. It could just be a brighter screen and still look good, so we'll have to wait and see on that bit, but that's one aspect I'm disappointed at. Obviously, when it comes to the specs, they're saying that it's going to use, like, pretty much, like, pretty high-end NVIDIA chips, because obviously NVIDIA are the ones who did the chips for the original Switch, so it makes sense to go with them. The biggest things, it will be using DLSS, so yeah, because obviously I'm sure a lot of you guys are like me, where you know, or if you're one of these guys like me who is more of a kind of home console player who mainly plays the Switch docked, obviously the biggest issue was that it just does not look good on newer TVs. Yeah, it's so much better just playing it portably. So this is going to be one of the big improvements now, is that obviously it's going to be able to upscale to 4K. You know, I don't know if we'll have many games that will be fully 4K, but, you know, maybe like it'll be a 1440p machine or something like that. You know, it will at least be able to improve image quality in comparison to the original Switch. And yeah, obviously the best thing about DLSS is it allows for better performance from, you know, lesser hardware, which is kind of the coolest thing about it. So we should hopefully be able to, like, at least get some kind of ports of these games from, like, you know, Xbox One, PS5 sort of gen. Don't expect the most demanding games to be ported. So I don't know about like your Alan Wake 2s or your Final Fantasies and GTA 6, them sort of games. I don't expect that to be there, but like the kind of in-betweenish games, you know, maybe like an Elden Ring, that sort of a thing. Persona 3, them sort of games, I would imagine we'll get on there. Probably get a lot of ports of PS4, Xbox One games as well, which would be cool. And we'll probably end up having some of the best versions of those games because of the DLSS and all that, so wait and see on that. Yeah, expect ports of the old Switch games as well. That's going to be a pretty obvious thing, I think, you know. There's already said that they had Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames on this thing, so I would imagine probably not that, but Tears of the Kingdom will probably have some kind of like Game of the Year edition or something on there, so yeah. Obviously, yeah, next up, one of the biggest things with the specs. This thing is going to have 12 gigs of RAM, so really good news. So obviously, you know, one of the biggest complaints from a developer's perspective was the lack of memory for the first Switch, so it's not going to be an issue now. And obviously, as we know, you know, the Series S only has 8 gigs, and developers have been kind of annoyed with that. Obviously, it has 10 gigs but split memory, so 8 gigs available. Wait and see how much is actually available to developers, but you know, if it's at least like 10 gigs or so available, it's a good thing. I mean, or the whole lot even. Yeah, so it's gonna be pretty cool. Good amount of memory. So yeah, not gonna have to worry too much about that now. But see, my concern is probably won't matter too much, but I'm personally, my prediction, I don't think this thing is gonna be as successful as the original model, because that first Switch was kind of the first of its kind and was carried by so many Wii U games. I just don't see that happening with this model. I think it's still going to be successful, probably still 100 million-ish kind of thing, but yeah, won't quite reach that 140 like this first model. And yeah, because I think for the average Switch owner, more power isn't a big enough selling point. The software's going to have to be there. Obviously, as we know, there's a ton of games that Nintendo just haven't done newer versions of yet, you know. I think Mario Kart 9 is basically a must. New Smash will probably be on there too. You know, they've still got the likes of you know, the bloody other racing game. I can't remember the name of it right now. You know the one I'm talking about. The last one was on the GameCube. And yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, yeah, 3D Mario I think is day one. I think that's going to be the big launch title. So yeah. But anyway, guys, I think, yeah, pretty exciting news. My prediction, I think this thing will be announced probably, I'm going to say, like, the end of this year, final quarter, November to December maybe. I'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, I'm excited anyway. And yeah, catch you in the next one.